This is the RPM Podcast.
These guys are ruthless. They'll stick it in a hole that's not there.
And here we are again, the RPM Podcast, episode 185. It is 7:37 p.m. on October 5th, 2020. Me and Josh been sitting here 45 minutes waiting for Mr. Sleepyhead Tim Riggleman up there in Farmingdale, New Jersey. Scott Riggleman down here in Manchester, New Jersey, and Joshua Matthews down in Waretown, New Jersey. Tim, how are you?
I'm good, ready to go.
You should be. You took a 45-minute nap on us. Tim was the spotter for Anthony Cecily. Tim had a great weekend. His brother won a heat race over there. Anthony Cecily won the modified race with Tim's spot, and then Tim's daughter, Alexis, won her very first race. Is it her very first win, Tim?
In this division, yes.
Over at Wall Stadium in the Sunday Series. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. Mr. Joshua Matthews, once again, did not make it to the racetrack again. Josh, how was your weekend?
Busy. Very busy. It was not planned to be like that, and whatever. All I can say is I'm doing more and more stuff around the house. My elbow's healing up, so yeah.
Got the stitches out?
Yeah, stitches are out. Just doing some physical therapy to get the full range of motion back, and I won't be pull starting any motors right away, but soon.
All right, we're going to start out with the Wall Stadium stuff. We're going to do a quick show tonight. We're going to do the Wall Stadium stuff and the Sunday Series stuff. I want to start out by, it was a beautiful day, beautiful fall day. It was warm during the day, but it did get chilly at night. It got chilly right around the Sportsman feature time. You could really notice the temperature drop during the Sportsman feature. But during the day, it was warm. It was a beautiful fall day. At the drivers' meeting, there was an announcement I want to tell everybody about. Last week on the show, we announced that the banquet was going to be October 17th in the pits at Wall Stadium. That has been changed. It's going to be October 24th in the pits at Wall Stadium. The reason for the change is Emily wanted to move it because that's the King of the Green weekend up at Evergreen, and she wants our racers to be able to go up there and support their big event. So she thought it'd be a good idea if she just moved our banquet to the following weekend, which a lot of the four-cylinder guys were thankful for because they want to go up there and race, and the wall mod guys want to go up there and race, and a few factory stock guys and late model guys. So it was a good move, and it shows a respect of a promoter at another racetrack respecting a big event at another racetrack. So we all agreed October 24th is now the new date for the Wall Stadium banquet in the pit area. She did announce, too, she's just going to charge like $5 to get in for the banquet.
Okay. That's
just to help her purchase the food and pay the help and stuff like that.
That's ridiculously cheap, really.
Yeah.
$5 and you get I'm assuming, is it still buffet style? Do we know?
I don't know what she's doing. It might just be at a concession stand for all I know. I really don't know what she's doing. She said she was supplying the food. That's all she said. So I don't know how she's doing it.
Yeah, I will say when Cliff passed away, the food setup at his memorial.
Yeah, if it's anything like Cliff's funeral or viewing, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be spectacular because that was like some of the best food I ever had.
That stuff was delicious. So I'm just throwing it out there. They did something wonderful there with such a terrible situation, and
right. It was a good idea, too, just so people know when they had Cliff's funeral, what they did was they had all food set up for everybody because there was such a large turnout. And what they did was they just picked all of Cliff's favorite dinners and places he ate, like restaurants and stuff, and they got food right from the restaurants of his favorite places he ate, and they had it all set out on display at like buffet style, like Josh said, and they had it written down, sausage, pepper, and onions from Vinny's Italian restaurant in East Brunswick or whatever it would be,
God, the pizza, the mac and cheese,
Chinese food. It was all from the restaurants that Cliff liked. So it was a nice personal touch. It's the first time I've ever seen that at a viewing like that. I thought it was a cool idea. All right, so we're moving right over to the features. The car counts were a little down. Tim, do you agree that the car counts were, except the modifieds? The modifieds had a large field.
Except for the modified, the car counts were down.
Yeah, we started the night off with the Legend cars, and they had a little rough start going on. I didn't see the race, but there was an accident in the very beginning, and one of the cars that were involved in the accident drove around the racetrack leaking oil. And
I love when that happens.
Yeah.
That was a long race.
Yeah, it was a long race. So there was a long cleanup for that, and then when they got going, they wrecked again. And the Legend car race took a lot longer than it needed to take. Other than that, I didn't really get to see, but I know there was a repeat winner. I think it was Peter Bruno that won the race.
Yep.
It was the race was just, first of all, I was surprised there were so many wrecks because there wasn't that many cars. Josh, can you see how many cars were in that race?
11.
Yeah, they had 11 Legend cars on a big track. You know, you shouldn't have these problems, but they did. A lot of wrecks, a lot of speedy dry.
Well, I know that we've teased on occasion the low numbers of the late models, but I mean they can go green the whole time, or they like take out one of the telephone poles. I mean,
Right. Well, they had their problems too, and we'll get that a little later in the day later in the show because that is the last feature of the night, and they had their share of problems too with a small car count.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Legend cars had a little bit of a tough race, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes their races go pretty good, you know. And
it's hit or miss. It really is.
With a few wrecks, and like I said, that one car dragging oil all around the racetrack, and it took the track crew a while to get it cleaned up. So it was a little more lengthy than we expected, but they did finish the whole race. It didn't get cut short or anything like that. They did run their 25 laps. And we do have the top 10 for. We might as well do the top 11, Josh. Might as well.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. So Peter Bruno gets the win. Eugene Drew, Brian Gardella, Joe Przybylski, Eddie Idek, Roger Nickerson with a 6th place finish. That's nice.
Oh wow, that's good for old Roger, the weatherman.
Yeah, great for him. Steve Wozniak, Phil Bogdan, Eric Green, Mason McGee, and Quinn Trimmer was the 11th place car.
All right, so that pretty much sums up what happened in the Legend car race, and I think next down the hill was the Sportsman cars, right? Tim, Sportsman cars were next.
Yeah. Yes.
Josh, how many Sportsman cars were there?
I'm looking at the wrong one. 16.
16 caution stocks came down on the racetrack, and they lived up to their name too. I mean, I know we always beat the Sportsman up, but I really think it had something to do with the cold tires because they didn't even get up to speed on the first restart, and they had a guy spin up the racetrack, Josh,
okay.
Where his left side of his car went up the track. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I just think it was their first time in a long time that they've been on a cold racetrack, and it did get, like I said, that's when I noticed the temperature drop. Like right after that Legend car race, in between the Legend car race and the Sportsman race, you really noticed a temperature drop, like to the point where you can see your breath, Josh. It dropped quick.
Now we can add into that too with a smaller car count from the Legends, plus all that downtime of the cleanup. The track probably cooled down. They weren't putting heat into it. Plus, the Legends run the treaded tires.
Yeah, it was the perfect storm for a bad start in the Sportsman division. And it took them a couple of times to get going. And then when they finally did get going, they were racing pretty good for a while. And then the cautions were just one after another. It got to the point where the track said, "We're going to single file restarts."
Oh,
and
thank you.
Help a little bit. Yeah,
we're not worthy.
I mean, the racetrack is definitely acknowledging that there's a problem with all these cautions, and it's driving the fans crazy and the other competitors crazy that we got to sit through it. So they did put them to a single file restart, and they ran good for a while. And then they went back to a double file restart, and then it didn't go so good. And they went back to a single file. I think the rule should be so the fans in the stands and the competitors know once they go to a single file restart, it should be like that the rest of the race.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't keep switching it up. It just makes it confusing for everybody. Once you change your mind and say, okay, it's going to be this type of race tonight, we're going to single files, and you just got to see it through.
Agreed. I absolutely agree. It might mean some less action, but or it might hurt a guy's chance. But once you've committed to the single file, which they don't do nearly enough for the Sportsman, they need to stick with it. I agree, 100%.
And then another rule they didn't follow.
Maybe they could do a double file with the green white checker at the end or something. Give the guy in the second a chance at least.
Yeah, no, I understand, but that's just going to cause another wreck too, especially with a green white checker.
You're.
Well, that's what it's all about. He's supposed to be racing.
Yeah, but by then they don't earn that right because they lost it. They gave them the chance and they blow it. So now you're single file.
Mm-hmm.
Got to treat them like little kids. Another thing I didn't like, the officials didn't follow their own rule where we have a 3-spin rule in all classes at Wall Stadium.
That, yeah.
Where if one car spins 3 times, they're done for the night. You cause 3 cautions, you're done for the night. That's it. Come back another night,
And usually they're even like, hey, they're not even like jerks about it. They're like, hey, sorry, but this is the rule.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
You know,
you know the deal. You spun out. After you spun out your second time, you know you're on your last strike. So play it safe. And if you spin again, you're done. Well, they had a guy spin out 4 times and they never took him off the racetrack. He caused four cautions and they never took him off the racetrack.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it slipped by, or I don't know. Maybe they thought it was a different car.
I mean,
I don't know.
everybody was counting his spins. They're like, all right, one more and he's done. And then when he spun, they're like, are you kidding me? They're not taking him off. And then he spun again. They're like, all right, 4 spin, he's done. They didn't take him off,
Wow. Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating for everybody, just to drag it out that much longer.
And unfortunately, our little buddy Neil Rutt III, he had another little disappointing night. He got caught up in a wreck about halfway through the race, and he was able to make it back out on the track, but he didn't have the finish he was hoping for. I feel bad for Neil and his family. They're really trying to hard to win that championship, and not to their fault of their own, but they're getting caught up in some stupid wrecks that happen in front of them and into them and behind them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
He's just finding himself in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it's tough to watch, but they're keeping their head up high, and it could happen to the other guy next week, and with the double points coming up, he's still got a shot, but I just feel bad for him.
Yeah, no, it stings. It really does.
All right, Josh, hit us with the top 10 for the Sportsman there.
All right, so Jarrett D. Giant Tommaso gets the win over Jake Nelke, Karsten D. Giant Tommaso, Robert Zutphen, Jimmy Walcott, Rob Schultz, Thomas Stanonis, Neil Rutt III, Jeffrey Loesch, and Teddy Kramer. Sorry.
So our buddy Neil finished 8th.
Yeah. So I mean, it's still halfway decent points finish.
Yeah, but I think he's battling for the championship with that Jake Nelke guy. Where was he, second?
Yeah. No, not the best points tonight, but at least he was, like you said, he was able to go out and salvage something.
Yeah.
So, like I said, if you can stay out, even if your car's running like crap, and you can, let a couple other guys
still get a top 10,
Yeah. I want to take the fenders off the factory stock and go out there with a Sportsman. I'll get a top 10.
You might get a top 5.
So, always, fight to get out there. None of that football, let the band come onto the field with, a minute on the clock kind of garbage. No, you fight to the end.
Right. No, and they do. The Ruts fight to the very end. The motor can be hanging out of it, and Neil will hold it in with a bungee cord to try to get that back down there on the racetrack.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but I'm just going to bring this up real quick in case we don't get into any NASCAR stuff. Did you see them trying to put ratchet straps to hold part of Truex's car together on Sunday?
No, I didn't. They pulled an old Paul Hartwig trick.
Yeah, they're trying to hold part of the suspension or something on the right front together after that.
At Talladega, they're trying something like that. No, I didn't see that.
Oh, it was great. I was just laughing my ass off. It was great. So I don't think it worked out for him, but yeah, it was. I mean, it was worth talking about. So all right, who came out next then?
Next on the hill is the 4-cylinder division. Half the cylinders, twice the drama. It was ladies' night at the racetrack, so this was the first race that had some female drivers in it. The female drivers did have their autograph session up in the grandstands before features, after heat races and before features, and Nancy said that went very well, and there was a lot of good response there, and she said she was happy to do it because you forget about it, but she's seen a lot of people for the first time this year by being over in the grandstand signing autographs, because it's the people we normally see after the races that come in the pits after the races, and you're not able to do that this year. So she got to see a lot of girls and kids and stuff like that she usually talks to at the races for the first time, and was able to sign autographs from them, everything like that. So that was pretty cool. So how many 4-cylinders were there, Josh?
Oh, that's a good point, Scott. Maybe they should have like some of the modifying, some of you guys.
Yeah,
over there.
I mean, there's only 1 week left. Yeah, but we should have been doing that all year. But with the COVID stuff, maybe they don't want to do that. But yeah, Nancy said it was a little hard to talk to people because everybody's wearing masks and stuff like that. But you are right, Tim. They should have every night. They should have bought one division over there to sit over there and sign autographs. This way, you got some face time with the people in the grandstands that can't come into the pits.
Yeah, that's a good idea in hindsight. Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see what Turkey Derby gives us. And Scott, to answer your question, there were 15 4-cylinders.
That's pretty good for the 4-cylinders.
Yeah, that was a pretty good showing.
Yeah.
Looks like
I didn't get to watch that race because I was staging to go out in my race. Tim, anything noticeable that you saw in that race?
Yeah, it was a good race. That guy in the 11, I think he spun out once or twice.
Oh, Sal, yeah, and he's battling for a point championship. He had a little tough luck, and not only did he have some mishaps on the racetrack, but he got DQ'd for going too fast through the pits.
Yeah.
That bugs me more than I can really say. I mean, I've been in the pits. Our race is done over. I'm just hanging out watching whoever's out there or whatever, and somebody just comes flying in with an attitude, and then they get even more upset when they get told that they're DQ'd because they just came through at like 50
you're better off
miles
just taking a deep breath, be patient driving through the pits.
I think there was.
I tell you one thing, Wall Stadium does very well is they'll send an official back there on a golf cart and let the tower know, all right, they're almost ready. Give them a lap. Like they'll give you time. They understand you're parked in the back and you have to be careful through the pits. And they give you a few laps to get your stuff done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, generally they try. I'm not saying there's never been a mistake with it, but generally they're pretty fair about all of that. And I've just seen, and even people that I call friends do it. I'm like, what the hell is going through your mind right now?
You know what? I know it's a tough decision and it's a tough call. I like Sal. Sal's a hard racer. He's a good racer. He does support the track. He's been around for many, many years. He is battling for a points championship. But sometimes you got to penalize somebody to make a stand that this way everybody slows down. Now, Scott Riggleman knows they're watching speed through the pits. And if you go fast, they don't care who you are or where you are in points. They're going to park you, So it kind of sends a precedence to the whole pit area. Unfortunately, Sal had to bite the bullet and he took the hit, And I feel bad for Sal because I know, he works very hard at his race and always has beautiful race cars, Josh. And for him to have a penalty, I didn't see him go through the pits. I don't know how fast he was going through, but I did hear that it was excessive. And it started as he flew up the pit road from the track to the pit. So now they're watching you. A lot of people do that, but once they get to the gate, they slow down,
If you're on the ramp, that's one thing. But once you get through the gates and you're in the pits, and it's one thing. And this is not directed at Sal, but this is directed at everybody. What I'm about to say: check your ego, just stow it away, and do what you have to do. Don't go in there just because you're all ticked off at somebody. It's not worth it. That DQ is not worth it. And again, that's not at Sal because I hardly know the guy, but I've seen more than a few guys do it over the years. And and what are you going to gain? And you're taking a risk.
Too, as a race car driver, it's hard to slow down to 5 miles an hour after you've been racing. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like he might have truly felt like he was doing 5 miles an hour, and to him, because he just came off the racetrack, if you're doing 20, it feels like you're doing 5 miles an hour.
One of the hardest things to relate to other people or to explain to other people is let's say it's just a flat tire. All it is a flat tire, and in NASCAR, couple seconds, but we have, electric impact guns and, and our lug nuts aren't glued onto it's completely
and he's
different.
A four-cylinder. He parks along the back of the pits. It takes your crew a while to get back there as well.
The crew has to run.
That's another reason why I don't really speed back to my pits because most of the time I get to my pit and there's nobody there yet.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there waiting anyway.
But I was going to say, even I've been in the car sitting there and, okay, they're jacking it up and then, all right, what's taking so long? It's like, oh my God. And it feels like forever because you know that you want to get back out there and you can't do anything about it. And it's so frustrating as a driver to
Especially
sit there.
You have the earpiece in your ear from the tower and they're saying, okay, double up, don't green next time.
Oh, yeah. No, it drives you nuts. It's very stressful and it's incredibly frustrating. And unless you've been in that situation, it's really hard to explain to other people how.
I feel bad for Sal, and it's a shame it happened to him. And I know whatever official had to make that call, it was probably a tough one to make. But I heard 2 officials saw it. 2 officials agreed that it was excessive speed. I even heard a couple people walk by my car when I was sitting there ready to go out. They're like, "Man, he was flying through the pits," So it might have been excessive. I don't know.
There were 2 other ones that night that got.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I know one other one. I know Brian O'Shea got it too in the factory stock race. Yeah. Do you know another one, Tim?
I think I remember getting 3, but I remember it might have been somebody in the legend car race.
Okay, yeah, possible.
Yeah, and I know, especially with the factory stocks, it's technically a little bit easier with the automatic transmissions and whatnot. But there's no speedometer, so even the police are like, just slow it down. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
exactly 5, but like,
One thing
be
that Wall
reasonable.
Stadium does to help speed the show along, which it does help, but it also makes the pits a little congested, is they line up the next feature event right away.
Yeah.
So we're sitting in the pit lanes, I mean, there is room to get by, but then you got crew guys checking tire pressures. It gets a little cluttered over there when they bring us up the stage.
You have to be paying attention, and
Yeah.
it's a risk you take by going to the pits. As part of that whole sign-in process is, you are taking.
But they
a
will
risk.
give us 3 or 4 laps. They say if you got a flat, we'll give you 3 laps, and they do. And 3 laps under caution if the pace truck is going at a slow pace is you have ample time to get out there. And you know what? If it's more than a flat or a fender against your tire, you're most likely done anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're not going to change an A-arm or a steering box or if it can't be fixed quick, then your night's over with anyway. I don't know how much damage Sal had or whatever, but it's just a shame. I like Sal, and it's a shame because I know he's trying hard to win a championship as well as everybody else.
Right. Yeah, no, it's a shame, but it's one of those things. They say it in the drivers' meeting every single time.
It's the first thing they say in the drivers' meeting. State law, 5 miles an hour through the pits, no drinking. I mean, we've all heard it a million times. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
And that's too. It's not a Wall Stadium rule. It's a state police rule, and they got to be careful with that. If someone gets run over, it could shut down the whole operation. So they got to be strict with it.
Yeah, especially if it was on camera and the police has to review it and they see that like that was clearly over 5, and then no,
It sucks it happened to Sal, and we're gonna get to it later. And it sucks that it happened to Brian O'Shea. But you know what? Bet you next week everybody's slow through the pits.
Yep. Yeah, I 100%. All right. So, anything else you wanted to talk about in the 4 cylinders, real quick?
Tim?
No, I don't remember anything else crazy happening other than that.
Okay.
All right, Josh, just with the top 10.
Well, Alonso Morales gets the win again. Great to have him back. Doug Ashford in second. TJ Graves with another great finish in third. Ryan Marr, Billy Prost, Sean Volksanic, Ian Ashford, Nicole Rosano, Cody Critelli, and John Chalella are your top 10.
Does that run down? Does it give you the car numbers too, or no?
No, it doesn't.
What do you want to know, Tim? Maybe I know.
It's like a primer gray, and it's got like a 5 on it, like Terry Labonte's car. 5.
That's TJ Graves, isn't it? Oh, no, there's a primer one too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's number 9, TJ.
Yeah. His car reminds me of the Terry Labonte Kellogg's car.
Yeah. He does. He drives his ass off every week. He's getting better and better. He's going to win. He might have already won a race. I don't know, but whenever I watch him, he battles for the lead, and it always seems like at the end of the race he gets flushed back.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him. But
one day,
if he hasn't won, he might have already won. Like I said, I don't pay that close attention to that division all the time. I happen to watch it this week.
I will say, no matter what, if you're out there, try to have fun with it. Try to enjoy it. I know there are some people that go out there, regardless, thinking they're going to win. Like, I know I'm not going to win, outside of a fluke. So I'm just going to go out there and have the best damn time I can.
I mean, everybody thinks I'm crazy competitive because I'm in like a zone when I'm there. People say I'm like almost like zombie-like, like hard to talk to when I'm there. But all honesty, my goal is a top 5 one piece. If I can do that, it's a good night.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong; it's tough to do that at Wall Stadium in a factory stock division, but that's my goal. Top 5 one piece. Nancy sets a goal for her. She likes finishing one piece lead lap. She's happy. I mean, everybody should set sensible goals. It's when you go there with that must win. I mean, everybody says you should have that must win attitude, but 9 times out of 10, you're not going to win. So you're going to be leaving there disappointed,
Yeah. I'm not a fan of that. I and more times than not, I found myself halfway through the race, there's been a couple wrecks or whatever, and I'm in like the top 6 or 7, something like that.
And that's what I'm getting at, Josh. Like my goal is top 5 one piece, and you hang around the top 5, you're going to get a few wins along the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
the race will fall your way eventually.
I
did it in my heat race this Saturday. I tell you what, we only had 2 heat races. We had 17 cars, I think, or 18 cars, and they split them up 9 and 9 in each heat race. 2 heat races. They're only taking 6 to qualify. I was starting fifth, but I had Elliott on my outside and Mike and Montana behind me. And it was all good cars in front of me too. I'm like, man, I'll be lucky if I qualify. Next thing I know, first and third spin out. I go around them. I'm restarting second, and I was able to get into the lead. Like that race just fell my way. I pulled out there hoping to finish sixth. The next thing I know, I won the race.
Yeah, and that's awesome. But for me, just to see that I was somehow up there with all these cars that I know to be fast and good, and I'm like, we're halfway through the race. How the hell am I up here? And it's because all the other people.
It's a good feeling, though, ain't it?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I guess I sort of belong here to some extent. I knew I wasn't going to win, but hey, I'm having fun, and I was like, great. I feel like, holy crap, I kind of belong, and that was awesome.
Yeah. All right, so the next division down was the American Steel Factory Stock division. We had 18 cars, but unfortunately there was a wreck in the heat race in Animal. What's his real name?
Mike
Baldwin. Mike Baldwin, Animal. He's been racing with me and Josh for years, mostly enduros. He does dirt racing, does factory stock racing.
He's crazy, but he's fun.
He's driving for Scott Purcell. They have a beautiful race car, beautiful number 23. I mean, I don't really care for the green rims too much, but they like it. It looks cool on the racetrack. Unfortunately, he got wrecked in the heat race pretty bad, too. He got turned right into the wall, crossing the line for the checkered flag, and the front horns got bent in the car. So, unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it out to the feature, so that got us down to 17 cars.
Was there any penalty for that?
Not that I know of.
Not that I know of either.
I'm just throwing it out there. Do you think there should have been a penalty for that?
You know what? We do have that rule that I think they could have used in effect of if you wreck somebody and they can't continue for the night, either can you. They could have went with that rule.
Okay.
But they didn't. I don't know why. I was hearing during the race they were telling the 23 to pick a lane and stuff like that. But still, that doesn't give someone the right to wreck somebody after the race, Yeah, they could have incorporated that rule where they said, all right, the 23's done. He can't finish in the night. Then the guy that caused the wreck can't finish the night either. But they didn't. They started everybody except the car that was wrecked. That got us to 17 cars, which is a little low for us. We usually have over 20. We usually have 20 to 25 cars. But like Josh says, it is that time of the year where people are blowing motors and just they're not in the points or they're not coming. It was a good race. I mean, we had our we pick on the Sportsman, but the factory stocks had a few cautions in the beginning of the race. Lucky I seen them out of my rear view mirror this time and not through my windshield. We did come off Billy both actually got a flat tire right in the beginning of the race, and I was right behind him. But he did go up high and gave me enough room to get by him, and that brought out the first caution. It was his left front flat tire. And then after that, Kevin Flores spun, and when he spun down the track, some other cars piled in, and that was the next caution. And I think that was the caution that Brian O'Shea got caught up in.
Okay.
And unfortunately, Brian had the same fate as Sal. And same thing, Brian's battle for the championship. I think he went into the night as the point leader. He got flagged for going too fast through the pits as well.
Now, it has him listed in 17th, which is last place here. Now, was it official DQ or just put to the rear?
I'm hearing that it is a DQ, but they are going to let him drop it as his bad race because it wasn't like a cheating thing. It was they're cheating it like he got
more stupidity.
I know. Tim, I agree because I would have gained a lot of points on Brian because I finished third and he finished seventh.
We could drop a race and cheat and get caught in
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I'm not happy that he's able to drop that DQ, but I'm not happy anybody can drop any race. It brings us down to 9 races, and the people that I'm battling with for points, they have worse finishes than me. Like Brian has a 17th now. Billy both has a 20th. My worst is a 12th, so they're gaining on me.
You can literally go to the racetrack and you're cheating and still win the championship if you get caught.
Yep. Well, no, you can't drop a DQ like that, Tim. If you get caught on,
oh yeah, I understand. Well, the DQ's DQ.
Yeah.
I got you. But I mean, but then how many people are going to say it's only cheating if you get caught? So I don't. It's racing. I mean, between racing politics.
The way I'm looking at the Brian O'Shea deal, how I'm living with it, the way I look at it is he got caught up in a wreck and wasn't able to continue and finished 17th. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Okay.
Because he did get caught up in a wreck and he went in the pits and never came back out.
Maybe they shouldn't say he was DQ'd. Maybe they should say he was black flagged. That's kind of like a different thing.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going with. He was black flag for excessive speed in the pits. But the way I'm living with it and not arguing about it is he got caught up in a wreck and was able to continue and finish 17th.
Now, I don't remember if it was that, because we didn't talk about it the week before, last podcast. So it was either last weekend or this weekend. There was people in the grandstands mad because there was a wreck and they put one guy to the rear and the other guy back. They let him go back up to second or third.
Yeah, they said he never stopped, right?
Yeah.
That's another crazy rule we have. If you don't stop under a wreck, then you get put back up. But the problem with that is, now, if I'm in a wreck, I'm doing everything in the world not to stop. If there's a guy in front of me spinning down the track, I'm flooring it instead of stopping for him, and I'm pushing through him. That's what makes that rule dangerous.
Was that last Saturday or was that yesterday Saturday?
I don't know. I heard it too. I did hear it over the scanner, them saying you did not stop. You can go back up. There's been times I've been in pile-ups, and I know it's not the right thing to do, but I'm not stopping. Before I would stop, not hit anybody, and after they clear it, then move.
Mm-hmm.
Now someone's spinning in front of me, and I can't get through. My foot's going to the floor. I'm getting through. I'm not stopping because I'm not getting put to the rear.
Yeah, I believe I was in a wreck with Tiffany once, and we were up against the outside fence, and I think Shannon just stayed on the gas and pushed through and pushed the cars out of the way to not.
It's not Shannon's fault. It's the rule's fault.
But there is a caveat to that rule, wherein even if you don't stop, if the caution was called for your car,
well, yeah, if you caused it, if you were the reason.
Well, here's the thing. I ran into an issue where, in hindsight, it was a wrong call, but I see why they made it. So Rich Monjo broke a right front hub and went up the track into me.
I remember that.
And it looked like we were stuck together. I never stopped moving. His car broke. He caused the caution.
Right.
But because they thought that we were stuck together, technically the caution was called for both of us. So
there I go. See, in that situation, you're like, oh my God, he's hooked to me. But if I break free and never stop, they're not going to send me to the back. So now you're dragging poor Rich Maggio down the front straightaway with a broken hub because you're trying to break away from him. That rule has to be addressed. I don't like that rule. I think it's a dangerous rule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I remember when they started that, but I'm just saying, I've been on the bad side of that, more than the good.
At that point, you might as well race back to the line for the caution.
Which
is dangerous as well.
That's what I'm saying. It's dangerous, but that's basically what you just said you're doing anyway. You're not hitting the brake. You're hitting the gas.
Apparently, what's been done without any knowledge to me, and I've never seen anything, the rules addressing this, a lot of times, if it's on the last lap, you race back to the flag. And I've gotten screwed by that. I gotten screwed at least twice by that, because I saw the yellow lights come on and I let off the gas, start slowing down, and then cars passed me and we crossed the line and they were waving the checkers. Wait a minute, we're not going back.
That's a double-edged sword. They say that it happened to me one time in the modified races. John was still alive. I was spotted for John, and the yellow came out. It was Stafford on the last lap. They were coming to the checkered flag. They were coming out of turn 3, and the yellow came out, and I called the yellow, and Donnie went around John, and they gave Donnie the spot on John. So John was all pissed off at me. But they said, in the drivers, the field is frozen at the yellow. When the yellow comes out, it's supposed to freeze the field. And then that one particular didn't catch it. And John had lost the spot. So, it's not foolproof.
Well, I'm just saying.
So ever since then, if I'm spotting for a driver and the yellow comes out on the last lap and the accident is between my driver and the checkered flag, I tell him to keep going with the checkered, and then
I'm that way now too on the track. I see a wreck happening out of the corner of my eye. I know the yellow's coming out, but I keep going until that yellow comes out.
Well, I'm going to say that
there's even times I see the flagger waving the yellow flag.
You still get
going until I see the yellow lights come on and hear him on the tower saying yellow, yellow, yellow.
Yeah, that's a communication issue on the track's end that I'm not. That they can iron that out amongst themselves. But I will say, you could iron out real quick. You could nip it in the butt with literally one line in the rule book saying that, either on the last lap we will race back to the flag, or under no circumstances do we race back. Pick a way to go. Don't make it a surprise, for the drivers. Or depending on the race, depending on who's flagging, because you get
That happened to mine Scott's Uncle Danny at one time in New Egypt.
He lost the race over that.
Yeah, he was coming at turn 4 or turn 3 and 4, and
Yellow came out. He slowed down. The guy passed him and got the checker flag. He led the whole race too.
Yeah, the guy in second blew right past him and won the race.
I'm sorry. You got to pick a side. If we're going back,
if the wreck isn't in front of me and there's clear truck in front of me, I'm staying in the gas until I get to the wreck site.
I understand why you do it. I'm just saying that if they could put in the rule book that then we don't have to do that and put anybody at risk. You just pick one way or the other and make that the rule, and it could be that simple.
All right, so after that wreck, we pretty much went green flag for a while, and the field did get stretched out. Elliott was able to jump out front. Mikey Montano was second. I was third, and we had nice gaps between each other, like 5-car lengths between first and second and third. And then I'm looking in my mirror. I can't see anybody behind me. We get all the way down to the white flag lap. So I'm like, oh, I'm finishing third. Cars in one piece. We're literally down the back straightaway by the American flag, Josh, and a car spins in the fourth turn and they throw the yellow. Oh my God, here we go. Now we're going to be all bunched up and stuff. And then, Tim, in a situation like that where we were literally on our last lap coming for the checker, we're on the back straightaway. We go for a restart. They make it a green-white checker. Do you think it should be a green checker, or is it always should be a green-white checker, Tim?
Well, if they go back a lap, don't they usually go back?
Yeah, that's where they get you, right?
That's what makes it 2 laps.
Yeah.
It's always NASCAR goes back to green white checker.
Yeah. So we went green white checker, and made it interesting because Billy Both, who got a flat early in the race and did the speed limit through the pits and got his new tire and came back out, he was able to make it back up and have a good night. So now I'm looking at him. I'm third. I think the 91 was fourth, and I had Billy right behind me, so he made a good comeback. And we went green, and I was right there. I was right there with Elliott and Mikey, and we were bumper to bumper, and it ended up being a pretty fun 2 laps. And I was still the finishing order didn't change. We were just more bunched up, at the end. So we did go with a green white checker, and there was no more crashing or wrecking and anything like that, thankfully. So Elliott was able to get the win. Mikey was second. I was third. Go ahead, Josh. Hit us with the top 10.
Well, you just gave us top 3, so I'll say Billy Both finishing 4th, Tom Ruszkowski in 5th, followed by Brian Osborne, Nick Catone, Gary Burton, Matt Bedessa, and Jerry Koenig.
I want to say that's not that I want to praise him or anything, but Elliott did really good. Elliott's definitely the best car over there right now.
Wait, didn't somebody drive for Jerry?
That last lap, no.
Okay.
12 car. He tried to get him coming out of. Going in this between 3 and 4.
Yeah, I was hoping for that because Mikey was trying him on the outside. Mikey was trying him on the outside, and Mikey was holding good on the outside, but he realized he was not going to pass him on the outside, so he actually led off on the back straightaway. It got behind Elliott, and I'm like, oh, here we go. This is going to be my race because he's going to dump him going into the corner, and Elliott's going to spin, Mikey's going to get black flag, and the win's going to be mine. But Mikey did bump him, Tim, but he didn't kill him. You know what I'm saying?
It actually looked to me like Elliott knew it was coming and got on the brakes.
And braced himself for it.
Yeah.
And Mikey could have really drove through him, and he didn't. He just tried to hit him enough to upset him, and Elliott did bobble a little bit, but we couldn't get the run underneath him coming off. So everybody's like, oh, Mikey dropped back to punt Elliott. I said he did drop back to punt Elliott, but he didn't murder him going in the corner. He just gave him a tap.
That's what people these days, you're not even allowed to touch him. What he did to Elliott, that's just racing.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
But man, I said in tech, I said, Mikey, you hit him, but you didn't hit him hard enough. I want you to both direct him. He's like, I know. He's like, I know all eyes. And he's smart. He's like, all eyes were on us in that situation. My
point being was when I get to finishes, Elliott was so good that Mikey gave him a shot, and it barely even phased Elliott. Like his car was so good. Like he still got off the corner real good.
I tell you what, though, if you look at the lap times, Mikey was actually faster than Elliott in that race.
And I said it before, but Nick Catone's getting better and better.
Yeah, he's getting fun to race with. He really is.
Yeah, he's doing a lot better job than he was.
And when you get underneath him, he races you hard, but he doesn't come down on you and stuff like that.
He holds his line.
Yeah. But if you did notice that when I said earlier in the race, when I was third and I'm looking in the mirror and there was nobody behind me, he was kind of holding that whole pack up. There was a whole pack of cars behind him, you know. There was a tight group of cars behind us, you know, and that's where that caution came from.
Yeah, I don't know Nick. I know
He's a great guy. Really is. His father is really a really nice guy.
He hangs out over at Jimmy's a lot.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if I don't want to be wrong with this, but I don't think like he never had anything to do with.
No, he has no racing background or anything.
Yeah, like just coming over there.
I tell you what, he works hard at it though. He really does. He's there every week. That's a big plus. He makes all the practices. He runs the heat races and the features. Like even though he's got a short racing career, he's focused on it, and he is a professional athlete, you know, from the MMA, so he knows how to be dedicated and a professional, and he just bought what he knows from being an MMA trainer and fighter. He's bringing it into his racing, and he's working hard at it, like he did his MMA career, and he's ahead of where most people usually are by now, and he's doing a great job, you know, and he's got good help, you know, he's got Jimmy helping him, and DiMaggio's helping him, and he's buying whatever he needs to race, and he's there every week racing.
Because there's like at one point it was him, you, Elliot, 12, and some other good guy. But there's this guy's been racing like a year, not even a year, right? And he's holding his own with five of the best drivers out there. I was pretty impressed.
Does Roger help him?
Nah. If Roger does go, he's always in the grandstands with his kids.
I know. I'm teasing.
Yeah.
But
no, Nick's a great guy. His dad's super nice. They're good people, and I'm glad to see him race and trying a different sport, you know, later in his life, and he's doing very well with it.
How old is he?
I don't know. He's got to be 40, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. I think he's a little too old to be an MMA fighter. That's why he's racing now, you know?
Well, good for him. I'm glad it's working out. And I mean, we've seen how many drivers that have been, you know, takes him how long to you know, come up through the field.
I've actually learned something from him. I watch him before he gets into his race car, and he actually does like a whole stretching routine.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, like he does, like he's getting ready to go into the ring to fight, you know?
I do that before I spot.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, this week I was a little tired and a little drowsy, and I started stretching a little bit myself, like just wiggling my arms around and doing circle motions with my arms, and it woke me up. It got my blood pumping, you know. So I learned a little something from him, you know.
Josh, could you see the guy's going to try something new? Figures he's going to go out there and stretch and blows his back out before he does.
So my back was hurt before I went out. I had to do something, man.
Yeah. And I have to say, another one I don't want to praise as much as then I can get away with it is Nancy drove really good Saturday.
Yeah,
she was actually banging fenders, and she was going.
Oh, I know. I got to straighten it out. Her fender is banged in.
She did good. She did really good.
And she set her goal. She finished on the lead lap. You know, one-piece lead lap, so she had fun.
Scott, didn't you say she had a new fast lap time?
That was that was like 2 weeks ago when she ran. She got down to 16.2.
Wow.
Yeah, and I have another thing, Scott, that a fan came over to mention me. Is that the first time, and I think it is, that I can remember since you've been driving a factory stock, that you actually had to change a body panel during the season, putting that door on your car? You've never had to change a body.
Yeah. I'm a Porter Power guy. I push it out and straighten it out. That one was just too far gone. It's got a hole in it the size of like 2 paper plates.
Some guy came up to me and goes, "That's your brother's so good. That's the first time I ever remember him have to change a body panel during the season."
Yeah, it is the first time. I mean, don't get me wrong. I had to straighten a lot of body panels out. But yeah, that was just a situation where a motor blew and I was sitting sideways in the truck and got a T-bone. There's nothing I can do there. I kind of like the white door. Elliot's like, take the white door off, bring it to my house. I'll wrap it and match it to the other door. I said, you know what? I'll just change the right side door. I'll put a white door on the right side and make the car match.
And it actually doesn't look too bad with that door on it.
I tell you what, a lot of people are mentioning it to me. They're like, it reminds me like of a Cup car when they used to pit back in the day and throw a piece of sheet metal on it and put a duct tape number on the car and stuff like that. I don't know. I really thought the door was going to come black and it wouldn't have been that noticeable. I opened the box up and it was white. I'm like, oh, God. All right, so next down the hill were the Mighty Modifieds, Tim's favorite division. They came rolling down the hill.
22 cars.
They had a good car count. Josh, what was their car count?
22.
22.
Wow. That's very odd that it's very unusual when the modified has the best car count there, because it is the most expensive division. But that's cool. They had 22 cars. Tim, did they use the time trials again for starting positions?
Yeah, I don't get there till that's all over. So I do. Yeah, there's no heat races.
And that's a big appeal, too, for these modified guys. If you have a modified at Wall Stadium, you can show up in time good and start up front. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do the whole 3 weeks, Josh, before you can start up front.
Right.
So that's a big appeal for a guy that only races 5 or 6 times a year, or maybe if Mahoney Valley ain't racing that night, it's an appeal for a driver from up there. They can come down. They don't have to worry about starting last. They can time trial into the race and start where they time trial at. They do like a weird invert too. They'll invert the top 6 or top 8, but you're not starting 22nd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that did put Anthony Cecily on the pole, right, Tim? Anthony started on the pole.
Yes, he did.
Do you know how many tires he had on?
No.
Nah. You don't discuss that in the pre-race meeting?
I know how many, but that's not my business.
Yeah, he had 4 tires on whenever.
No. He had more than 2, less than 4.
So, yeah, it was good to see Anthony have a good race. He's been having tough luck, too, in racing. I was surprised to hear it's been 5 years since he won a modified race over there.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah. Another guy that had a good run that's been struggling a little bit over there was Jason Hearn. Jason Hearn had a top 5. I think he finished 5th, so that was good to see Jason have a good run. The one thing about the rules over there with the tire rules, it does mix it up a little bit, but I still don't like it. We discuss it all the time over here. I mean, it kind of benefits the guys that aren't there every week because they can have 4 tires, and then someone like Stephen Ree who's there every week stuck with 2 tires, or Ron Freeze has 1 tire. At least let them buy 3 or buy 4. If you can't afford 4 tires in the modified division, then you can choose to buy 3. But the guys that want to race and buy 4 tires a week, at least let them buy 4 tires a week in our premier division.
I don't know anything about the setups and stuff like that, but how often do they change the left front?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Give them 3 tires. You can always move your left rear to the left front because that'll be a newer tire than your left front. So then every week, your left front's 2 weeks old. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Let them buy 3 tires a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was Anthony's first win in 5 years. How did your race go, Tim? Did you have to keep him calm, or was it a pretty smooth race?
And I just kept him. I wanted to keep him at least 5 car lengths ahead. He kind of got comfortable with his rhythm where he was more comfortable with 7, and I tried to keep backing him down because.
And what was the reason for that? Just to save tires?
To save the tires at the end because once like the better cars came up through the field, the 12 or the 20. You want to be able to have something at the end.
And God forbid if there's a restart, you want to have good tires on. Was there any late restarts, Tim?
It was the same thing with green, white, checkered. Anthony's like, is it going to be green checker or green, white checker? I'm like, it's going to be green, white checkered. And Anthony's like, oh, because the 27 was behind. But the 27, Anthony had saved enough cars. The 27 wasn't.
Now, in that situation late in the race, were you able to choose the outside or the inside lane or anything like that?
Yeah, and Anthony wanted to be on the bottom. There was one point in the time where he wanted to play chess, and he was more worried about the car that was in 3rd place than 2nd place.
Okay.
I said, "Don't put no. I don't want to play chess right now. Go where you're more comfortable." And he went to the bottom, and then on the last restart, the green white checker, I go, now if you think your car is going to be better on the outside, because nobody's better on the outside besides Jimmy at Wall Stadium or
Andrew.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now's the time. If you want to play chess, we'll play chess. But he's like, nah, my car is really good at the bottom. And like I said, he pulled the 27.
I don't think they had the tacky stuff down, the track go down.
The peanut butter and jelly?
Yeah, the PB and J. I don't think they had it down because if they did, then you should have chose the outside because that really helps the modifieds launch. And I don't think they had it down because I didn't notice it in any of my races. I think they just put it down for the big races.
I always make sure whatever the driver says, where do you want me to be? I go, well, if it was me, I'd go to the outside. Well, you decide where you want to go.
Tim doesn't want to take responsibility for anything.
Well, he knows he's getting blamed regardless, so.
Yeah, one way or the other. So, other than that, went fine our way. I don't even remember anything else crazy happening. I think we went green for most of the race, if I do remember.
Tim, I did see. I swear I saw one post of somebody saying that something in the modified race was like
Yeah, I saw that on the mess when I had come home from Wall Stadium. Of course, I went on Facebook like everybody else, and I saw that, and I don't know what that guy was talking about, Josh.
Okay.
What did he say, Josh? I didn't hear what he
It was
said.
like unprofessional or disgrace or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like something almost along the lines of what happened in the factory stock heat.
Really?
But like, so I don't know if somebody just blocked or I don't know. I don't know what they were talking about, and I was hoping. I don't want to just assume some a name or anything like that. But yeah, I have no idea what it was about. So
Yeah, I never went back to follow up and see if anybody else had said anything, but I definitely didn't see like anybody, like you said, get wrecked dirty or anything that I know of.
Okay.
So,
well, I mean, you were flag to flag, right? I'm sorry, Tim. You were flag to flag with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, your eyes might have been in a different spot than some of the others, I guess.
Yeah. Now, when you're normally at Wall Stadium, you can kind of see the whole track.
Right. Right.
Not that I was looking for anything in particular, but usually, like where I sit, there's enough people around that I would know what there at least something happened. Because there people are MFing, and there's a lot of people that stand around me that used to race and they like to say what they would have done in that certain situation.
But do people respect that you're spotting and kind of leave you alone, or do they say stuff to you as you're spotting a race?
Both.
Yeah.
I gotta go both ways.
Yeah.
I got Grandpa Bullet yelling at me the whole time when I'm spotting
for Jimmy.
But that's nothing new. That's been since I was 18. So.
Tim, why do you choose to spot from the grandstands rather than going on that spotter stand?
Have you seen the size of the people that are up there in that spotter stand? Do you think they need one more fat guy up there?
Have you ever spotted from the spotter stand?
Honestly, the best place that I think to spot from is where Ronnie Buck Jr. spots from, right before the Goody Castle.
Okay.
I think that's the best place to spot from. But I started spotting where we sat down in turn one. That's the first time John Blewett Jr. handed me a radio and go, "You got to go spot for me tonight." And I went and I sat where I normally did, and I just learned how to spot there.
Speaking of John Blewett Jr., today was his 70th birthday.
I did see that. And did you see the little video that Jesse put on Facebook?
Yeah, they had the fire department and stuff.
Oh, God. I worked at that junkyard 12 years, something like that. I can only imagine how the crackheads and all the scavengers that were in the junkyard and all those cop cars came to the junk. I bet they were like ants running out of the anthill trying to hide from the cop cars.
Yeah, so happy birthday, John Blewett Jr., also known as Jungle John Blewett back in his racing days. He's turned 70 years old today, so happy birthday, John Blewett.
Wow. Actually, is it only officials?
By the way, that spotter stand is called the Pig Pen.
Okay. It's called what? The Pig Pen?
The Pig Pen, yeah. It's called the Pig Stand.
Now, there's two white towers.
They used to. I don't know. Back in the day when Timmy Shin owned it, they put those up for. They used to have.
Yeah, they call them crow's nest.
Yes. Yeah, they used to have officials in them. That went away, and then once in a while there'll be a guy up there taking video, but that went away, and that's where when Tony Hirschman comes to spot a turkey derby and stuff, he goes up there. But Diane did throw him out like 2 years ago.
Really?
So yeah, I guess if you want to go up, there's one literally right by where I spot, and if there's nobody up there, there's nobody in the grandstands to tell you no, unless somebody comes down.
Yeah, what are they going to do? Throw you off of it?
Yeah, I mean,
I still think they should have officials up there. I think that's a good spot to have officials. One in each one of them.
Yeah,
that's where they were put there.
And they're up high enough too, where people can't yell at them too much.
You think I'm climbing up there? You're crazy. I'm not. You have to get the fire truck to get me down.
We'll get some money together.
All right, Josh, this is with the top 10. I got to get going here soon.
Yeah, sorry. All right, so Anthony Sesley gets the win over Andrew Krause, Stephen Reed, Derek Hopkinson, Jason Hearn, Kevin Davison, Dom Vataruzzo, Joey Merlino, Ken Matlack, and Sean Carrig.
And by the way, Ken Matlack has the coolest race car hauler in the pits. He still tows with an old Chevy box truck and an open trailer, and the modified looks so cool sitting on that open trailer.
Who was that? There was a guy. I think he ran Sportsman. He had a ramp truck or a ramp trailer. Was it? He was really short guy.
Dave Bailey. He still races.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. I think it was Jimmy Blewett was joking with him. He's like, every time I see you pull in with that, I get the A-Team song in my head. The theme song. Anyway.
All right, so next down the hill was the late models. They had a short field, so you think they would go green, white, green the checkered, but that did not happen. Josh, how many cars they have? 6, 7?
Six cars.
I got a funny story about that. I'm all loaded up by then. I want to get home, drop my race car stuff off. I want to get over to my camper over at the campground. So I go up to the payout window while the late model race is going on, and I hear a lot of wrecking going on out there.
What good race?
Yeah, and then I was pulling out. There wasn't many fans left in the grandstand, and I guess the leaders wrecked into each other. And I see 2 kids jumping up and down the grandstands. The only kids left in the grandstands watching the race, and of course it was my nieces. They stayed to the very end, and they cheered to the very end. Then what happened when they were cheering? What?
It was. I always want to call him Alvan Duza, but it's not. The 69.
It's Craig Costello.
Yeah. It was him. At first, it was him against the field. Yeah, and he is obviously it's terrible as much as he's very underpowered compared to those other guys.
Okay.
Like they'll literally pull a car length in half down the straightaway. But he was driving very hard, and he was out driving their horsepower.
Wow.
But it was only a matter of time till was it 74? Is that the number?
You got me.
Yeah, Chris Silvestri. He's the point leader.
He had enough power that every time they went down the straightaway, he'd get like 3 or 4 inches ahead of him, and it just mathematics matter of time who's going to get around him. He'd get around him, and the 69 would push him into hit him in the corner, like the old days, like when Lee Taylor and Harold Dawes they used to go through the corner and they would literally like lock bumpers, and they would like push each other out of the way. That's what he was doing. He got back by him twice doing that.
Wow.
And then they got together to rip the right front fender off the car. And the yellow came out, and the fender's hanging off the car. The fender was actually still hooked to the door and bent back and is in the window of the car. I'm like, oh, they're going to black flag him. They didn't black flag him. The fender was hanging so far out of the car that the car that was in second place on the outside on the restart couldn't get alongside of him between the car and the fence. The fender was so wide. But they let him go. And
I tell you what, for a short field, those late model guys race each other very, very hard, and they put on a pretty entertaining show.
There was 4 cars out there at this particular time. There were 4 cars out there that could win on any given turn, and it came down to there was another yellow, and I guess they figured we got to black flag this guy. He can't have that fender. They gave him a shot to win with the fender like that, and another yellow came out. So they black flagged him. Wow. And I don't know who won. I think the 74. No, Buddy Miller won.
Yep.
That's 2 in a row for Buddy.
Yeah. So.
All right, Josh, this was the top 6 or 7, whatever we had in that race. I know Stephen Puglisi had a bad race because I was halfway home and I got a phone call asking for my flatbed. They couldn't get the car on the trailer. And I said, Nancy's car's loaded up on it. I'll get it unloaded, and you guys are more than welcome to come get the flatbed tomorrow. So they actually left the car there overnight and went back and got it with my flatbed on Sunday morning.
And that was a 60?
Yeah. It was wrecked pretty bad. The horns were pushed over. The steering box was ripped right off it. And they have one of those wedge-type trailers that Josh was talking about before. So it's hard to load a bent race car up on a wedge-type trailer.
I saw that there was a post about it on the Facebook page.
Okay, so
all right, Josh, just top 6 or 7.
Yep, Buddy Miller gets the win over Greg Gastelum, Andy Gamble, Chris Silvestri, Mike Tillett, and Steve Puglisi.
Any comments about the food before we leave Wall Stadium, Tim?
I had a little bit of trouble with that. I did not hear anything over the loudspeaker about the food specials, and believe it or not, the girls did not do their job this week and do RPM research and find out what the.
Well, it was ladies' night, so I guess they took the night off.
Yeah, I don't think that there were anything for ladies' night? I mean, what are you gonna have for ladies' night? A salad?
Yeah, they're the usual ones that are cooking, right, Josh?
Yeah.
And
Ladies, they probably ordered in pizza.
and as far as the grandstand goes, I didn't see an overabundance of ladies that I don't see there normally. So
Yeah.
I actually thought the crowd was a little light.
Yeah, it was a little chilly, so that caused for. And it was a nice day out. It was just one of those beautiful fall days out where here I am, a diehard racer, and I kind of didn't feel like going to the track. You felt like going doing something else, like pumpkin picking or fishing, or going to a park somewhere. It was like that type of day,
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knew it was going to get chilly that night.
Yeah, bring your
The
hoodie.
crowd was. I mean, it was a decent crowd, but it was definitely a late, late September, early October type crowd.
It's
Yeah,
tough, and it's getting darker earlier.
Yeah.
Down where we sit, there was nobody. We
Really.
were basically sitting there by ourselves. Yeah.
All right, Josh.
There was a big race in Egypt that night, so that might have something to do with it.
Oh yeah, they had their 100 lappers, so some people might went over there and watch that.
So
All right, we're not going to get that tonight because I only got
Every-
20
yeah,
minutes left, and we want to get to the Sunday series stuff
Well,
because
before we left Wall Stadium, did you see Doug Kobe announced that he's coming to Turkey Derby?
yeah, but he comes anyway, right?
Yeah, but people say, "Oh, he's not coming this year."
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, he did make an announcement that he's back with the team he always comes down here with,
Good.
and he's always right up there for the win. So it'll be interesting to
And he
see.
said what? He's had 5 consecutive top 5 finishes.
Yeah. So he's got a good shot at. So we're already getting big names mentioned in the Turkey Derby. So you also noticed, Tim, that Riverhead's having a late November race this year. They're having a race
Yes.
on November 15th, the Islip 300. So
Which is normally during the middle of the summer, but I guess
yeah, and that got moved to November. So they're having a late race, November race too. I would like to see that becoming a traditional weekend race too. They're going to try out their November race if they have a good turnout of race cars and stuff like that. Maybe they'll keep doing that.
Yeah, the only thing that if they had a lot of wrecks, it might hinder some of the guys that come from there to come to Turkey Derby normally.
Yeah, but we always have
Well,
plenty of modifieds for Turkey Derby.
Well, a lot of the more of the pro stocks come. They always
Right. All right, Josh, let's move over to the Sunday series because I got about 20 minutes here. I like to do the Sunday series results and then a quick what have we learned, and then we'll call it a show.
I agree. I just wanted to ask, what's the final points race for Wall?
It's this weekend. It's
Okay.
double points. So this is championship weekend coming up. It'll be the final regular season race.
now did they drop it?
They're dropping we can't drop championship night. So the points are being retallied right now as we speak, so we'll know where we're at going into this week.
Okay.
And then whatever happens this race happens this race. If you finish 30th or 25th, you can't drop it. It's
Okay.
this race counts. No dropping. Double points.
Scott, what are you looking to achieve?
Well, it all depends what comes with this Brian O'Shea DQ, but I mean, I can go anywhere from second to. I can't fall any further back than sixth, but I can. Right now, I'm sitting fourth or fifth or something. I don't even know because I'm waiting for the drop race thing to happen.
Right. Okay.
So I really don't know where I'm at.
I was just curious, if you had what you're hoping.
I mean,
for.
mathematically, I have a shot. It all depends how many cars show up because I mean, if there's a full field, it's 110 points to win and only like 10 for last. So you can literally have a 100-point swing.
Yeah, that's very good.
Who's leading Elliott?
Well, like I said, I really don't know. It's Elliott, Brian O'Shea, Elliott, Mike Montano, me, Billy Both, and Johnny Carpenter. They're really the top ones that have a shot.
I'm just wondering.
Mathematically have a shot. It's really between Elliott and Brian, but everybody else has a mathematical shot still.
Okay.
I checked before. They haven't updated the points yet.
Oh, okay. I was just punching in the website just in case. All right. So everybody definitely keep an eye on Wall. Try to get there if you can. I'm going to actually I'm not even joking, make an
Don't even say it, Josh. You say it every week and you never show up.
Bite me.
And to tell you the truth, you haven't showed up all year. We don't even want you there championship night. You don't deserve it.
Ouch.
He's usually there Turkey Derby.
Who, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't missed that, and I don't think I've ever missed it.
All right, Josh, let's do the Sunday series. Now I'm down to 15 minutes.
I'm sorry. Okay, so real quick, the Sunday series, free to watch. Definitely, they put on a good show. Tim, what time do they get there? What time do they usually wrap up?
Pit gates open between 9:30 and 10, and we're usually done by a good day. A good day 2:30, a bad day 4:30.
Okay, that's not bad.
Are they allowed to start motors before noon?
Yeah, I don't. There's never been. Hell, those quarterback guys are over there racing at 7
Oh,
o'clock.
yeah,
in the
that's
morning.
true. They're up there at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Those
Yeah.
guys are nuts.
But yeah, it's free to watch, and they put on a pretty good show. So if you have time or you're looking for something to do on a Sunday,
It was a packed house there, but there was 23 people in the grandstand yesterday. So,
Oh, you know what? I've stopped over there before, and I do
I
notice
do.
when you sit there,
There
people
was-
stop in. They'll walk in, drink a
I've
cup
had
of
a-
coffee, and leave.
a couple seconds of I was there one Sunday, and this old guy came over to me, like old, I don't know, 85 years old type. Came down, he was only, me and Mom sitting in the grandstand, and Mark Rogers' mom was always there, and it's usually the three of us. And this guy sat down, and he said he hadn't been to Wall Stadium since Jay Nichols was like, the last time he was there was like 1968, and blah 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 blah. He was a big TQMA, whatever those
yeah,
midgets. He was back here telling me how they used to make all their own parts, and the guy was very smart. And he come, well, why'd you come over here today? He goes, I was free, nice day, nothing better to do.
Yeah.
He came over, and there was a couple there this week. They're just an older couple that were just driving through and stopped and watched a little bit of racing. So it is good for that.
yeah.
All right, Josh, let's get the results started.
All right, so the modified microstocks winner was Tom Irvin, who
Again.
Yeah, again, but I also want to thank Tom and Robin Irvin because they sent us these results, and it's a big help to to the show to do that. So thank you guys very much. So Tom Irvin, another win, yes. Jim Van Dyne.
Tom River wheels the hell out of that thing.
Does he?
Oh yeah,
It's a nice piece of equipment. It is. I've
yeah.
seen.
He just drives it like an animal. Like he's been doing it for so long. You can tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
He can drive it sideways if he has to. Whatever needs to be done, he does it.
All right, so that Jim Van Dyne, Mike Fox Jr., Josh Berry, John Almick, Brian Russell, Dave Stout, Corin Kazmierski, Jay Smith, Mike Brennan, and Ashley Tyler. Now we're going to go down to the Sportsman Blue division, and we have a special first-time winner in the division, Alexis Riggleman, Aiden Spencer, Bailey Riggleman, Alex Rogers, and Aiden Grates. So great showing for Alexis.
And Bailey. She got a third. That was a pretty good run
Yeah.
for Bailey as well.
Now,
I put her P5 with my rundown. I just oh boy.
Oh, you did say fifth on your Facebook post.
She was technically a lap down before the yellow, but I really forgot about that. She has the last couple of weeks. You can't get. She's got a sliding hop coming out of the corner, and they can't figure out how to. Oh, it showed up, and it's not uncommon in the cars to have either be sliding and or having a hop. Where
She has both.
She's got both, and
Ugh.
I feel bad for her because she's more of the timid driver to begin with, and she's really trying to drive out of it. And she spun out in her heat race, and then she did again in the feature. And they can't figure out where it's coming from. But
Have you ever sent Alexis out in Bailey's cart to see if she can do better? Or
honestly, I don't think Billy would let her get in her cart.
nah? I mean,
No.
sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes
Yeah.
it helps if you put somebody else in your car.
But
Or maybe
anyway,
she can get an Alexis car and try hers and be like, wow, this one's so much better, you know?
I can't
Yeah.
tell you how many times a handful of times I put Rob Longo in my car just to.
Sometimes I just like watching my car on the track because now I can look at the tires and see what they're doing and be like, oh, wow, it's rolling over. Or, it needs this, it needs that. It's not a bad thing to put somebody else in your car every once in a while and watch it,
the
Yeah.
bad part about it is Bailey's cart was taken apart, cleaned with a toothbrush, and No, there wasn't. If it needed it,
That's supposed to be the better cart, right?
If it needed it, it got the best money it could buy. Bernie Erlander would be like, "Well, you can have this for this, or I want the one that costs the most amount of money. That's the one I want for it." And that's the way he built that cart. And Alexis' cart was Jimmy Blewett found it in somebody's shed in their backyard.
Yeah.
And we put it together enough to get it out there running, and Alexis just wheels the crap out of it. So, but what cart's better? I don't know. You tell me. But
yeah, but how many times have we seen again? I'll bring Rob Longo up again with that Orange Crush car, and that thing's been bent 7 ways from Sunday.
Sometimes they're just bent the right way, Josh.
Yeah,
that's what I feel about your 7X.
Yeah, my dirt car's the same way.
It looks when he goes around the racetrack, it just looks like that's the way it's supposed to be. You know what I mean?
It like hugs the track because it's bent like a banana.
Yeah. So anyway, in Bailey, Alexis's feature, they were coming down the back straightaway, coming to the checkered. Alex Rogers was leading, and the Aiden kid that you said, not Aiden Spencer, the other one, Kratz, or whatever his last name is.
Yeah.
He's come a long way in 3 weeks. He used to struggle, and all of a sudden the light switch clicked on, and now he's racing. And Alex got a little loose coming off of turn 2, and you could see where it hurt his momentum enough that the kid 3/4 of the way down had him on the momentum, and he stuck it in there. I mean, and if I would have been spotting for Alex Rogers, I would have definitely said that he was in there. And Alex came down enough that he shut the door on him, and they both spun out. And the field scrambled. Then Bailey, Aiden, the other Aiden, Spencer, and Alexis went around the corner, and they kept going green, and they gave the win to Alexis because maybe Aiden. I'm sorry, the other Aiden still beat Alexis across the line.
But it was gone yellow.
By a little bit, no, but they disqualified him for taking out.
See, that's exactly what I was hoping was going to happen with Mikey and Elliott in my race.
But, so if you ask me,
so he got put to the back because he spun the guy.
Yeah. Which, like I said, me being honest, if I was spotting for Alex Rogers, I had enough time to tell him that he was in there. Then Alex came down on it. My opinion is they shouldn't have black flagged that kid for what he did. Do you know what he didn't?
Because there is a sunshine rule. If you're up past the left rear tire, the spot's yours.
He left past the left rear tire, but the bumpers on the back of those cars, remember, too, are like a foot long.
Right.
So where do you consider in there?
Yeah.
We're talking go-karts, 12-year-old kids here. Yeah. I'm trying to get technical, but he was in there enough that I think
could have been called either way. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It could. It was
both of them had to give a little.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, Josh, let's move on for that race.
All right, so then we go on to the senior champs, which was Jim Hall over Joe Parker, Alex Grates, Tia Almick. Then we have the junior champs, Will Cloud, Tyler Ritchie, Mike Hall, Jared Okerson. Then we go to the Sportsman Red, Kevin Davison and Howie Conk Jr. Then we go to the WF Microstock, which is Richie Tazinski.
I think that's a 5 in a row for Richie.
Yeah, I'm used to that now. Then following him was Mike Fox Jr., Brian Russell, Jared Hale, Mike Turton, Joey Gary, Ashley Tyler, Ryan Baxter, John Crane, Scott Fox, Robert Wallman, and Josh Barry. That's a good car count
that's
there.
The biggest field they have there.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So
the go-kart division, some of them have like 2 karts in them.
Right.
But the ones that have the bodies on them, they had a lot in their divisions. Car count was pretty bad this week.
Yeah, I noticed that it was a little down as well. All right, Tim, how many more weeks do you have over there?
I was told 2.
Two more weeks? Yeah. All right, so that moves on for Sunday series. We can do a quick what have we learned, and then I got to sign off here.
Yeah.
One real quick. We got 9 minutes. I got to ask Josh this. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Because I know it's going to fire him up. Josh, they let your boy Chase Elliott get away with going under the yellow line to this weekend.
They actually penalized him, right, Tim? And then Hendrick.
And they lifted it.
Yeah, they protested it right after the race. Hendrick protested it, and they won the protest.
It's the first time they've ever
reversed it like that.
So what?
How many?
But I watched it. He was forced down. I mean, basically, like, door slammed in the right side. And me and Josh were talking about this when we were waiting for your 45-minute nap there for you to come on the show. Dale Jr. was saying the yellow lines is over with. It's outlived its purpose. You don't need it anymore. It's causing more wrecks than it's helping. Me and Josh were thinking maybe you're allowed to have your left side tires over it, but you can't. Your right side tires can't touch it. Give you like 3/4 of a car width. You know what I'm saying, Tim?
It's better than nothing. Yeah, I'll go with that for now.
Where Elliott, I mean, the guy came down and door slammed, and his left tires were just on the yellow line, and when he could, he got back up. You know, I agreed that it shouldn't have been called on that one. Just do away with it. You know what I'm saying?
The downside is, again, you fall into that whole, well, you know, what if somebody was forced farther down? And we talk about something like the backstretch, which is where it would usually happen. I mean, you got to run, you're coming up, and the guy comes down, and not just as a block where you could hit him square, but, you know you're going to wreck if you don't go down. You're still forced down. So
that rule is just too hard to police. You know what I'm saying? So basically get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, if you got 4 wheels below that yellow line, you're at fault.
Unless you were completely, what if you literally got door slammed, like contact, smoke?
Right. It's too hard to police, Josh. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Josh are old school. If it's paved, race on it, right, Josh?
Yeah.
And, the only thing I want to say is, like him or hate him, and I don't like him myself, but Denny Hamlin is the best restrictor plate racer out there at this time.
Oh, really? You think so?
Yeah, he's won how many of the last?
Yeah.
Well,
he rode around and back all day long. 5 laps ago, here he comes.
He's having a championship year. Let's see if he can close the deal, you know?
But I'd say let's go back to, what was it, the truck race? Trevor Bayne was back doing well, you know, at a restrictor plate
track. With our buddy Phil Gould, too.
Yeah, and I wanted to say that Ryan Preece had a good day. He ran top 5 all day long, top 6.
Yeah.
And Tim, you know what? Me and Josh were talking about that, too, during your beauty sleep nap. I think Ryan Preece had a shot at winning that race. What was preventing him from – he always had to be behind somebody because he had damage in the nose. Yeah. So he couldn't drop in front of the lines that were coming up because he would have been in the front and he would have been slower. So he had to follow somebody. Then I read somewhere, Tim, I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard this was his 3rd top 10 in a row and his 5th top 20 in a row. So he's closing his season out good. And he was one of those names that were in the rumor mill, possibly.
Yeah, I was going to say, I heard some more than one person that I don't know are close. And I know they know Ryan well enough that they wouldn't be bad mouthing him. That there's trouble that he might not
come back. I heard he's to the point where he's looking for a top notch Xfinity ride.
Yeah. No, that's what
but I'm sure Ryan's not happy either. He likes winning races and he don't want to ride around there 15th to 20th. You know what I'm saying?
But is it a question of paying your dues before you can move up and being reliable? You know.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is he'd rather move down to like a Stuart Haas, top of the line
get a couple years and then
wins and championships and run mid pack and
right
the rest of his career.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's shown he belongs there. He's taking that car that normally runs 20th to 15th, and he's been getting top 10s with it. So we'll see what happens how he closes out the year. You know.
But the other it wasn't a Cinderella story. They wanted it to be was the Di Benedetto, who also performed very well, and I mean I know he's racing for a job literally at this point.
Yeah, I heard he's pretty much out of the ride no matter what happens.
But I would say that.
And not because of performance, because they have other drivers moving up from the Xfinity series. And
right. Yeah, it's not that he's necessarily underperformed. It's just that they have other, like, their sights on something else. But he, as far as I'm concerned, he showed that he belongs in that group.
Where do you think Richard Childress' grandson's going to go now? Because he got.
I don't know. I thought maybe Richard Childress would buy that team and that charter, but
I bet he goes to Petty. They'll put him in Petty's class.
Well, yeah, I was saying the 43 is open.
Because Petty is on the Richard Childress campus over there. I thought they were going to buy that 13 deal and keep it going under the RCR banner, but that's the team that Michael Jordan and
Dan bought. I bet you because 42 is a Chevy now, right?
Yeah, 42 is a Chevy.
And then
That's right.
I saw there was a rumor that
43 is a Chevy, but then I
Yeah.
heard they might be going to Toyota too, but that was with Bubba Wild, so that might not happen now. Yeah, the 43 is a Chevy, the 42 is a Chevy, but they got Ross Chastain and Chip Ganassi.
Yeah,
I
the
just
48
saw a rumor
48 is
earlier
where
today
Larson's going to go.
that Larson was going to Hendrick.
Yeah, 48.
So Josh gets his wish. He gets Kyle Larson back into the Cup Series.
Oh,
So you punch him in
yippee!
the face.
Yeah, I'm watching wreck some more.
All right, guys, I got 3 minutes here. Let's do a quick. What have we learned?
All right. I'll let Tim go first on this one.
I learned that my communication skills tonight I wasn't sleeping tonight. For some reason, I was waiting for the final "Let's go" and I didn't get it. So I don't.
We're really shocked, Timmy. You're usually the first one to sign on. You're usually waiting for us.
How quick was I when Josh asked me if I was going on? I was right on.
But it took you a while to catch on that we were sitting here waiting for you. That's fine. We all make mistakes. Tonight was yours.
I was waiting for "Let's go." And that's it.
Okay. Scott, what did you learn?
I learned that Tim only cares about himself when it comes to time.
And I got more than anybody, so.
All right. Today I learned that Tim is going to be doing stretches before he spots.
If anybody's sitting by him, please videotape that.
Yeah, I'm going to go like this, stretching my button finger.
Tim, that's a fair question, though. With the cold weather and stuff, do you have any trouble with your batteries staying charged? Do you have to charge them more?
Honestly, I have more trouble. I don't know. This may sound crazy to you, but I have more trouble with my batteries going dead when it's 110 out than I do.
Same
when
with my
it's
cell phone. If I leave my cell phone sitting on like my truck seat when it's 100 degrees out, it'll shut off. It gets too hot.
But put it this way, I haven't charged my radios since I spotted for Jimmy last. So whenever Jimmy was at Wall Stadium with, and I'm still using them, and they're not dead yet.
Wow.
Ooh, that's dangerous, isn't it? Don't you want to always have a fully charged battery?
I have a meter on mine has a digital meter right on the radio, so I know how full it is.
I guess too, those radios that you have are pretty much designed for a Cup guy to do like a 500-mile race, and you're doing a 40-lap race at Wall Stadium.
Yeah. With no qualifying and no practice, you know.
Is your equipment Cup quality, Tim? Could you spot a Cup race with your equipment?
They use digital radios now.
Oh, really? So you're a little behind on the times?
Yeah, we're not allowed to use digital radio. You're not supposed to use digital radios.
So what's yours, crystals?
No, I don't know what they call it, but it's not crystals, no.
Yeah, not that old, right?
Probably still transistors, but I would say because with digital you can they can make it so that the tower could not monitor without having something to decode it. So essentially they could have.
They want to be able to listen to you.
Yeah.
Apparently when the Cup cars they're at Daytona with the airport right there, there's issues between it jams up some of the frequencies with the planes and stuff. But
I wonder too if they're worried about having a digital radio inside the race car and maybe you can do like a traction control thing through it, Josh.
I'm sure.
Ooh, yeah. But you would still have to have a box on the motor somewhere. You know what I mean? Like,
under the dash, or you'd have to have
something. That's why they stopped letting the guys have the cell phones in the car.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
They thought they were doing the traction control through that.
Yeah, unless you're.
All right, Josh, what did you learn?
Oh, the other thing I learned was that ladies' night is rough because they're usually the ones doing the cooking.
Tim said that.
Oh, it's terrible. We are terrible people. All right. So just as a quick recap, now that we have to sign off, championship night is this Saturday at Wall Stadium. So make sure you're there. Somebody drag me out of the house and, force me to go because apparently I'm not capable of doing it.
I'll give you my ladies' pass, Josh.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, so it should be a good show. It's going to be exciting. There's a lot of tight points battles going on. So it's going to be worth watching. And
last race you get to see at Wall Stadium before Turkey Derby, so come out and support it. Let's see some races.
Spooky?
No spooky this year, Josh, because we're racing in October. We're usually done now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, no spooky this year.
Okay. That's the only other time you need to worry about your radios dying is when it's 4 degrees out during Turkey Derby. So, all right. That's all I got. So lead us out.
All right. So that wraps up episode 185 of the RPM podcast. And thanks for joining us.
Go to Wall.
Good night. Wash your hands.
Good night, everybody.